When most of us hear the word compliance, our minds just jump to endless paperwork, audits, and, let's be honest, costs. But what if we've been looking at it completely wrong? In this explainer, we're going to flip that script and explore how to turn compliance from this thing you have to do into a powerful strategic tool for building a business that's not just surviving, but thriving.
And this is really the core question we need to ask ourselves, isn't it? Is compliance just another line item on the budget, a cost you have to put up with? Or is it something you're actively building, an asset that makes your business stronger? Seriously, how you answer that question can change absolutely everything.
And let's be real, the world we're operating in isn't getting any easier. Especially right here in South Africa, we're dealing with everything from power disruptions to major economic shifts on a daily basis. In this kind of environment, just reacting to problems as they happen, well, that's not a strategy, that's a liability.
Okay, so first, let's break down that traditional reactive view of compliance, the one that causes all the stress and, frankly, where a lot of companies are still stuck.
Does any of this sound familiar? Compliance is seen as just a cost center. It's a burden that regulators force on you. It's handled by one department over here, another over there, completely siloed. And it's treated like a project with a start and an end date, where the only goal is to get that certificate to hang on the wall. The big problem with this way of thinking is that it completely misses the point, and it misses out on a massive, massive opportunity.
So, how do we break out of that cycle? Well, it all starts with a huge shift in mindset. We've got to stop being reactive and start building what we call proactive resilience.
This right here, this is the goal. Operational resilience. And it's so much more than just having a backup plan. It's about building a dynamic capability into the DNA of your organization. It's about creating a business that can not only survive a major disruption, but can actually adapt and maybe even come out stronger. It's all about being ready for what's next, no matter what that is.
And this comparison just lays it all out perfectly. You're shifting your thinking from compliance as a cost to seeing it as an investment, from a burden to a genuine asset. You're moving from a reactive scramble to a proactive strategy. And maybe most importantly, you're going from separate, siloed functions to a system that's woven into the very fabric of your business.
Okay, so that's the big idea, the mindset shift. But how do you actually do it? Let's get practical and look at the actual toolkit you can use, starting with some key international standards.
First up is ISO 22301 for business continuity. The best way to think about this is as your playbook for when things go wrong. It's a framework that forces you to figure out what's absolutely critical to your business, and then build solid plans to prepare, respond, and recover when those things are threatened. It literally turns potential chaos into a managed, controlled process.
Next, we have ISO 31000 for risk management. Now, the key here isn't trying to avoid every single risk, because that's impossible. It's about managing risk intelligently. This standard gives you a framework to build risk-based thinking into every decision your company makes, from the top floor to the front line, creating a culture that is proactive by its very nature.
Now, here's the smart part. You don't have to tackle these one by one. The most effective way is to integrate them, using something like a SHREQ framework. By combining safety, health, risk, environment, and quality into one system, you get rid of duplicated work, you see the whole picture of your organization's health, and you make sure that an improvement in one area helps out all the others. It's just efficient.
Okay, so you've shifted your mindset, you're using the right tools. So what? What's the actual payoff? This is the exciting part. This is where compliance stops being an obligation and becomes a real, tangible business opportunity.
I mean, the results really speak for themselves. Companies that do this well, they just stand out from the crowd. They get access to new markets and big tenders that demand this kind of certification. They run more efficiently, they handle risks before they become full-blown crises, and they build this incredible level of trust with their customers, investors, and even the regulators.
This quote just nails it, doesn't it? Strategic compliance transforms regulatory obligations into competitive advantages. You're basically changing the rules of the game, turning something that everyone else sees as a hassle into one of your biggest strengths.
And to bring it right back home, this is so relevant in the South African context. When you align with these international standards through the South African Bureau of Standards, the SABS, you get a huge boost in credibility right here at home. And, crucially, it swings open the doors to international trade.
So, let's tie this all together. How do you make absolutely sure that your compliance program lands firmly on the asset side of the scale?
Well, it really boils down to 3 keys. First, leadership. This has to be driven from the top with real commitment and resources. Second, integration. You have to weave this into how you already do business, not just bolt it on the side. And third, continuous improvement. This isn't a project you finish. It's a process that never stops.
And let's be crystal clear about the traps you need to avoid. Don't fall for the temporary project mindset. Make it an ongoing business process. Don't just chase the piece of paper. Chase the real value it creates. And please, don't work in silos. Bring it all together with an integrated approach. Honestly, avoiding these mistakes is half the battle.
At the end of the day, the shift is this. You're moving from a culture of just ticking the boxes to a culture of genuine resilience. You're not just aiming to be compliant anymore. You're building an organization that is ready for anything, and that will become your ultimate competitive edge.
So I'll leave you with this one question to think about. Take a hard look at your own company, your own processes, your own mindset. Are you just getting by, or are you truly building a business that's designed to anticipate, to adapt, and to last? The choice really is yours.